Hi guys, it's me Zim, and welcome to the first video for this rebrand of my channel. I know this is kind of strange that I said that in my previous video that I was going to not do any more half-baked reviews. That's mostly because I gave it some more thought and realized that I like doing them a lot, to the point where it's basically if I don't have any gameplay video ideas or if I'm just not in the mood to do gameplay, I'll just post one of these. Especially if it's a game that I found a long time ago and that was fun. I'm planning on doing another one on Fly Night, which is actually a cute, adorable RuneScape-esque Souls-like first-person hack and slash dungeon crawler. That's a lot to say. But today's subject of the matter is Containment Corp, Inc. It basically is a... If I had to put it together into a degree in a certain way, it is if you took an extraction shooter, Phasmophobia, Resident Evil, and a little bit of the Backrooms, and just fused it all together into one game. How the game works is basically you have the hub room. The hub room has a bunch of shops. They have the healing item shops, which has healing and sanity related equipment. There's the equipment shop that has the items that allow you to scan for health, ammo, hazards, and enemies, teleportation device, dodge projector, stuff like that that you can bring with you. There's also the cosmetic shop, the loadout section, and the weapon skins and weapon parts and weapons in general shop. Basically, you go there, you buy your equipment, and you go out and do missions. How it works is basically you just pick out your loadout from the uniform tab, and also you can change either your gender, your choice of visor, uniform color, and whether or not if you have a hat on. And you can just go in and select a mission from the missions tab or the contracts tab. Basically, the contracts tab has 4 maps, 2 of them being large, 1 small, 1 medium. And how it works is you pick either of the maps and you go through the airlock portal. Once you get landed onto the map, you're given your miniature objectives, and you are also given your little hub area to protect you from any outside forces. There's also the little kiosks that will let you know what you can do, such as the revive station and the one of the anomaly machine stations that allows you to craft an anomaly machine specifically for a specific anomaly. And your main goal on these maps is to find the anomaly, capture it, and find the anomaly, identify it, capture it, and then get back to the van and evac. That's basically all you have to do. But there's so many things that you can do in the process, is that it feels more like an extraction shooter to a degree. Because there are a few things. One, you can take anything from the hub room and bring it with you to the mission. There's also a chance that you can lose that stuff if you play solo. If you have friends, they can pick up your stuff, or they can revive you and you can just lead them over to your backpack. But yes, you will then get a option to explore once you press the button to unlock all the gates. Once all the gates are open, you will then go to any part of the map. When you open your map through your PDA, you can go to any part of the map. You can even mark it to go to there, like have it marked so you don't get lost. You go to any part of the map and you can search for the anomaly, or you could find supplies, money, and kill off enemies and stuff like that to make sure things are safe before you start trying to capture the anomaly. Basically, as I said, main goal is to capture the anomaly. So you have to explore and fight off creatures in the process, such as void walkers, which are just like standard zombies, spiders, and leeches. Leeches hang on the ceilings and they can land on your head and do damage. There's also mines littered all over the place. Like there's traps all over the place. It's best to be careful and watch your step, because mines kill you pretty much instantly. So you just don't want to end up stepping on that. You either kill yourself or kill your entire squad if you do that. And there's also other things you can do in the process. There's like little Easter egg portals you can go to. One of them was like I won't go ahead and spoil some of them, but one of them leads to like a pseudo backroom area. One of them leads to this platforming area. And there's also a Siren Head Easter egg that you can find that is actually kind of unique. And all these locales, well, most of them give you cosmetics. And these cosmetics can circumvent having to spend your currency on buying cosmetics in the cosmetic store, unless you're planning on buying a hat, which is another thing. But as I said, your main goal is to go and find the. Your main goal is to go ahead and find the anomaly and to identify the anomaly once you find the spot, because you do have multiple tools on you off rip. You also have the complementary items that you get from the van, which is a dodge protector, a light, and a few medical supplies along with some ammo. Then you have the scanner, which not only acts as a scanner to identify items and traps and stuff like that, but also acts as an EMF detector. So you can walk around, and if it hits EMF 5, you're in the area of the anomaly. Once you find the anomaly, you need to put down the dots machine, the light, or any other tool that you have that can identify the anomaly. So, like the radio that you also come with would also start playing very eldritch and weird noises if it's EMF 5, if it actually allows it. The dodge protector would show a faint image of a spirit running past. The camcorder will allow you to see orbs or UV footprints, depending on what mode you have it on. Your visor will start to fog out from the cold, basically how cold it is and stuff like that, etc., etc. And once you identify it, you need to go find a crystal, implant it into an anomaly machine projector, and then you will get the machine needed to capture the anomaly. Once you put the machine down at a EMF 5 location, you turn it on, defend the area till it's fully charged, take the machine, book it all the way back to the evac site, plug up the machine, and then survive the initial wave of enemies that comes at you during evac. Now, that may seem hard, but I've played this game solo at least 3 times. The first 2 times don't count because I died through a landmine in the first 2 minutes. And it's relatively easy. You do start off with a handgun at first that can't get any upgrades, which may change throughout the course of the game's development. But later on, you will get other weapons. So far, there are only 2 that you can get that are new. It's the SMG and the assault rifle. And then I believe they might be adding more, but that depends. Not to mention, I also want to put in some like suggestions. Because in fact, I don't want to like throw ideas at somebody. It's their game. It's made by 2 people, and they just want to make a fun game that's relatively affordable to play for a group of 4 or for 1 person. And I just want to throw out suggestions and some tips to you guys if you ever actually try and want to give the game a try. The game is like $10, and I will put the link to the game in the description for anybody who wants to check it out. Aside from that, though. Yeah, that's basically the game. I've tried 2 of the maps, 2 of the 4 maps. The medium one, and I mostly played the small one because the small one makes everything quick. The medium one's actually kind of cool. I've yet to try the large ones, considering the fact that the large ones look relatively big. And not to mention that you can also run around and collect biomass. I've yet to figure out what biomass does. I've watched the tutorial multiple times, and I still don't know what to do with biomass. Maybe it's not a thing that's added into the game yet. Maybe I'm just missing something. But biomass is another currency that you can get along with your credits. Credits you can find scattered about on the field. You can also get credits for completing miniature objectives, finding artifacts and turning them into the artifact delivery kiosks, which have the drones. And you can get credits for finding phenomenons, like through your camcorder and stuff like that. But so far, I haven't figured out what biomass does as of yet. I may have to really re-watch the tutorial video to figure that out. Aside from that, though, the main thing I want to say is that this game actually has a lot of potential. I know I said a lot about a lot of games, and so far some of the games I've eaten my words because they either gotten like 0 updates, or we find out that the dev, I'm not saying these 2 are terrible, I'm saying these 2 are just sweethearts, they're just trying to make a fun game, I find out that the main dev of a game that they're trying to develop has done something and they're not going to be back for a while. Fortune's Run developer having an issue, but that's another can of worms. Aside from that, the suggestions I would like to add, I would like to see added into the game because I enjoy playing it. It is difficulty modes. I would like there to be like maybe 3 difficulties you can choose between missions. I may have missed it in the contract selection, but it would be cool if, depending on what difficulty is, depending on the outcome of what you're dealing with in specific maps. For example, if you play on easy, you have to deal with just the stock standard, what you're seeing on footage right now. Just nothing too much. Supplies are everywhere and stuff like that, yada yada. If you're playing on normal, supplies are slightly thinned out, but not to the point where it's a dime a dozen, and you have to like literally be sparing with your ammo. You're just gonna need to look around a little bit more, and there are gonna be a little bit more traps and stuff like that. Enemies are slightly tougher, but not health wise, just damage wise. Because I don't like bullet sponges. Nobody likes bullet sponges. Hard would be, while supplies are scarce and enemies do more damage, and there are a little bit more traps, you can make it so that the enemy density is increased slightly, or at least a little bit more, so that it'll pose a sense of urgency, and make it so that you have to either take everyone out or be cautious. I'm not too sure if the game has a stealth system. I never actually tested it. It probably doesn't, but if it did, I probably wasn't using it, at least properly. But if that's the case, then you could probably add a stealth system, but that might be difficult, so I'm not going to have that as a full-fledged suggestion. Another suggestion would be a melee attack, because I've pressed every key on the keyboard, and unless I missed it, I don't think there is a melee attack, or at least a melee weapon, because I personally think it would be very detrimental to have a melee attack in a game like this, considering the fact it's like a survival horror game. I've played Dino Crisis 1, and that game does not have a melee attack, and when you're out of ammo, you're out of ammo. You are SOL the entire time until you find more, or until you die and restart. That's how bad it's gotten, and I'm not gonna lie, I might have missed it. I will do a fact check, so bear with me on that. But yes, a melee attack would be nice, or at least some sort of melee weapon. It would also be nice if you can't do that to add a primary and secondary weapon system, because let's be honest, sure, yeah, they might share the same ammo, but the thing is, though, just imagine running around and you're out of ammo for your primary, and if you don't have a melee attack, what are you going to defend yourself with? You must switch over your pistol. It's faster than reloading too, because the reload animation can be technically fairly slow, especially you do a dry reload. But that depends. That's it. There's just a suggestion after all. And another thing I would like to add for difficulties is like you add like a nightmare mode, make it so that it's like very like tough. Not like Doom 1 and 2 where the enemies respawn every 10 seconds, kind of tough. Just make it so that the enemies are very powerful. There's a little bit more of them and stuff like that. It would actually make the payout for doing these missions on difficulties higher than easy a lot more fun and easy to get cosmetics and stuff like that and whatever people like to use. Another suggestion would be to add like more suit upgrades aside from the stereotypical inventory upgrade. I like inventory upgrades, those are cool, but it would be cool if you were able to add some sort of like plating or like some sort of armor to the suits, so that and also have it like visually change the appearance, not like skins. Like you can do a skin overlay of these, like I'm talking about like full model difference, like literally like the suits are like more advanced, more high tech. You can even add options to make it so that the suits have like detrimental effects if depending on the suit you wear. Like if you were the one that has heavy armor plating, you're highly defended and you take barely any damage, but you have really slow. Or if you have one that like slightly protects against physical damage, but mostly protects against psychological damage. You have no need for sanity pills, but you have a higher chance of um, like getting crit more, or making it so that you have a weird side effect when you use certain healing items or something like that. Or like have one be like some like highly like experimental like nano weave armor that looks futuristic, that has like a lot of upsides, but one major heavy downside that'll make someone turn their head and go, okay, I probably could reconsider buying this and stuff like that. Um, but those are just some suggestions for like armor and stuff, because it would be cool to have like some like new suits or like upgrades to your suit that you can turn on and off, or like just having a perk system that could also as a suggestion, being able to like change out like a set of perks to make it so that you'll be able to like like assist the team, like you're able to heal other allies, or when you revive someone through the revive tube, it's 10% faster, or your movement speed's increased when you carry objects like artifacts in the anomaly machine, or you what was it? You have a 15% chance not to waste ammo when using a gun or something like that, or every time you use a healing item, there's a chance that it won't be used up and stuff like that. Perks like that would be cool. But that's all I have for suggestions. Um, and as I said, it will be relatively like okay, relatively okay for you to add stuff like that. But it's also very important that you would add other things to the game that would be cool, such as like boss fights, or maybe some like special events that happen if you stay. Like, there's already an event that happens when you stay in uh, a EMF 5 area for too long. But I want like other events, like modifiers for the map, like enemies are um, like something like Alone in the no Alan Wake, where enemies won't take damage unless the flashlight's shining on them or something, or enemies can only be killed if you aim for the head, or uh, all the enemies are like or no, basically like there's more floor hazards. Uh, they make it so that the let's see, or maybe make it so that certain equipment can't be used, or like you only use one weapon, like one weapon type. It'll be really interesting. Or like, or another thing, I thought of one just now. The PDA could like be deactivated, so you can't check the map or anything like that. Or your weapons don't have a chance of jamming or something like that during combat. So you gotta like make sure to not fire fully automatic the entire time. So just something small would be cool. Those are just some suggestions. You don't have to take these suggestions. These are just ideas that I thought of that would be really cool, that add more spice to the game. And that would be basically it. Aside from that, all I can give at the moment is just that your game is really fun. I'm not gonna lie. This is the most fun I've had from an extraction kind of game. This is up there with Nuclear Nightmare and Lethal Company. That's how fun this game is. Along with content warning, I do enjoy these games, but this one's like right above that. Like literally, it's like right on the cusp of beating Nuclear Nightmare for me, because as much as I love Nuclear Nightmare, this game actually tickles my fancy a little bit. Basically, with all the genres that I like, survival horror, extraction, stuff like that. It's really fun and really cool. Another thing I would note is all I can do for anybody who's actually interested in playing the game is to give some tips. Tip number one: take it slow. As I said before, there are traps everywhere and enemies are abundant, so you don't want to end up running into an entire room full of enemies, get swarmed, and end up dying, and or stepping on some landmines. Tip number two: always take the complementary tools. Even if you're taking absolutely nothing, the complementary tools are very important and detrimental to you finding out what the anomaly is. Also, pay attention and always review your notes when you're doing the anomaly checks, because you don't want to end up getting the wrong anomaly like a dum-dum, like I almost did for like like one of the few sessions I tried. Tip number Tip number 3: don't take up all the ammo. Supplies are very limited, and you can run out of ammunition. While the enemies don't respawn, you can actually run out of ammo, especially if you're very, very like haphazard with your ammunition. That's the word I was looking for. And tip number 4: explore the entire map. Sure, yeah, your sanity is going to drop, but there's plenty of med supplies, and you can always bring medical supplies with inventory upgrades for sanity pills and stuff like that. That way you'll be able to actively explore more, find more supplies, because you can actually get some objectives done, find more artifacts to get more credits, so you can buy some stuff at the store, or you can find some like pretty some more biomass which you can use later and stuff like that, or find some secrets. You know, there's also secrets in this game. I'm not going to spoil any, but there's some secrets. Aside from that, there's a few things that I want to note that may cause an issue for some players, and I do recommend the devs to take this into account. Is one, I might have glossed it over, but there needs to be an FOV slider for people who sit very close to their monitors like I do. Because I have a gaming laptop and I sit relatively close to my monitor because it's like right there. So it's best if there's like an FOV slider. The FOV at the current moment is perfectly fine, but there needs to be at least a slider for people who have like bigger monitors or are relatively really close. Number 2, there also needs to be option for resolutions. To change up the resolution for people who have trouble playing the game on higher resolutions, or just have an issue in general. So it's best to be careful and such. And another thing is, I've noticed that when you pause and you shoot and you click back into the game while you have your gun out, you end up shooting, which causes to waste ammo. While I do have a tip for people who have that issue, you can just de-equip your weapon if you have to pause. But I do recommend actually like trying to get that fixed to see what's going on, so that people don't end up wasting ammo in the process. So far as for bugs, I haven't found any bugs whatsoever. I think there's a graphical bug on one of the platforming levels with the clouds, because one of them is like transparent. I think that's supposed to happen, but I was wondering why. I was like, there was a coin there and I couldn't like make it over. There's also the another thing that I also want to add is this is like a personal preference, but add more like guns for people who are gun nuts and stuff like that. I would also like to see if you can add something to see your legs, because seeing your legs is kind of cool, but you don't have to add that in. That's just a personal preference. But as a person who likes guns in games, it would be cool to see more handguns, because the P230 that we saw of is cool, but it would be nice to get like a Beretta or MK23 or like an M1911 or something like that, and attachments for those too. And as for like bigger weapons, like a shotgun, which is probably planned, who knows? Maybe a sniper rifle if you want to take people out from a distance, or a DMR if that's too big and it wouldn't make any sense. And add some sort of like grenades or something like that. Grenades would be cool, like being able to like toss grenades at like groups of enemies if you're like trying to survive evac or clear the place out for trying to find the anomaly. That'd also be very cool. But yeah, if I had to rate this game out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8. It's a fun game. It's in early access. It's $10 and it's 4-player co-op. You can play this game solo too. It's a fun time. If I had to get it a letter grade, it would be a low A, high B, and that would be technically it. This game is really fun, and it's a joy to play. As I said, the suggestions that I have, you don't have to take into account. It's mostly due to the fact that I personally think that the game would benefit from that. But this is your game. You do what you need to do to make it what it is, and you do what you want. That's all I'm gonna technically say. It's your game. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. The link to the game will be down in the description for you guys to check out and buy. if you would like, also to support the devs since the game's in early access. And yeah, that's what I'm going. All I have to say. I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys enjoyed.